Hi everybody, welcome to an introduction to the Genesis Community Project. Genesis is a project that was born out of our local church, the Norwegian Settlers Church in Port Shepstone, KwaZulu-Natal. Our church has been here for 133 odd years. It was built by a group of people that came from Norway some time back. And over the course of the years, we have been in a community that is, for want of a better word, been incredibly dysfunctional. HIV and AIDS has gone rampant. But our church one day was confronted by a question that I asked our congregation. The question was simply this: if our church was uplifted overnight from the world and we woke up tomorrow morning and the Norwegian Settlers Church was no longer here, the question was, how long would it take for our community to know that we were actually gone? Back then, 10 years or so ago, we were honest enough to acknowledge that we didn't think they would know we had gone, because we hadn't made any real impact in the course of the last 100 odd years. And so we embarked upon a journey to, in a sense, take down the walls of the building of the church, because for so many people, church for them is what happens on a Sunday morning. We wanted to encourage the people in the church to see the community as being the greatest mission field that we could enter into. And so we systematically began to take the walls of the church down, figuratively, and get into the community to seek to minister to this hurting group of people. We started off, God just uniquely brought up across our paths a number of people dying of HIV and AIDS. And these people broke our hearts when we saw the devastation of an HIV death. And as a result of that, the church gave us a piece of ground on which to build a care center. We now have 40 beds in our care center, and it's just amazing, and we are so privileged. From that, we began to notice that there was a need in our community to do some work amongst the youth. And we started with a gym. We opened a gym in a very poor area of town. We got an old, dysfunctional, abandoned building. And we opened a very primitive gym there, and noticed that the young men in the community began to pour into this gym, and ministries began to develop out of that. Mentoring took place. Young people were coming to know Christ just simply by building relationship with good gym instructors who loved the Lord. Out of that, we grew many other projects. We called them, one of them is called a reading room. A reading room is, for want of a better word, a place of safety where children can come in the afternoon. They get help with homework. They have an educational program. They sing songs, have stories, play games. We have creches. We have clinics. Music is an incredibly big deal. Africa has music in its bones. And so we've used this as a tool to be able to take the gospel out into the community. Leadership is being trained in our schools. We have what we call a leadership academy, where we take leadership principles based upon biblical principles into schools with incredibly good effect, and lives are being changed. One of the highlights for us is we have what we call a rugby academy. We have young men who come in after school with a dream to play international rugby, and we bring them on here. We have a 3-year program for them. We thought that the care center was all that God would have in mind for us. But over the course of the years, many other things have come about as well. And so all we've really been seeking to do in all these projects, and they are vast and they are very broad, is just to take the gospel to people outside of the walls of the church in a relevant kind of a way that would minister to them at the point of their need. And that need gives us a point of connection with those people. And so we as a church are incredibly grateful for the opportunity that God has given to us to be able to do this. And I trust that as you watch a little bit of what you see today, that may touch your heart, maybe break your heart even, as it has ours. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for hearing our story. God bless you.